So don't feel like, oh yeah, now that there's election, I have to pull all of my money out or I need to go run for the hills. Take a deep breath. It's gonna be all right.
Welcome back to Young Broken Investing. You got Roman here and Zion coming at you with another good one that's right on something that's probably on a lot of people's minds. We got politics and maybe not politics.
It's kind of
Election news.
politics.
Election news and
Yes.
how it affects your finances, how the government kind of almost just affects your finances when we're going through this time. And we're going to hit some points for you today. Zion, what we got for the people?
Yeah, I think that it's a major misconception that, oh man, the world is going to end now that it's election time again. Every 4 years, the world blows up. No, it's okay. First thing that we need to get right off the bat is that you are safe. Your money is going to be safe for the most part. Your investments will be safe for the most part. The economy is going to go up and down regardless. Like, things are fluctuating regardless if there's an election or not. And considering that there's a pandemic going on right now, like, the world is already, economically in, a fluctuating standpoint. So don't feel like, oh yeah, now that there's election, I have to pull all of my money out or I need to go run for the hills. Take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. We're going to get some of these things out of the way. But that is the number one thing that we just need to make sure that you do not panic in this time and feel like you got to, burn the barn. Like, this is not that.
Awesome.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying real quick. We are not economists. We are not financial experts. We're just here for your entertainment and for, spread a little knowledge at the same time. So any advice or anything we give, as always, do your own research. Disclaimer.
Yes. So, if you want to burn the barn, go for it.
Like, share, subscribe.
I mean, hey, we're just here to get you guys some additional information. But yeah, first and foremost, you're okay. You're probably safe. If you've made smart investments, if you've been watching channels like this, if you've been keeping up with the different things, the different waves of what's happening in the world, and not just in the world, but financially and with your investments. If you've made smart investments with Stash, or we did the video on Stash. Who knows if it's out by now, but we have one coming if it's not out. So watch all those different videos so you can know where to put your money. So even in the case that something happens, you've diversified enough so that you're going to be covered regardless. That's a major key. So without further ado, where else do we need to go with this conversation of global economics and politics and policy and how it's affecting people's finances?
I think even still investments a little bit more, because I've really read an article today from CNBC where vast majority, about 93% of investors, feel like the presidential race will affect their overall portfolio. And what Zion was just saying right there is really just holding steadfast in your strategy. When we talked about what kind of investor you are and how different investment strategies go, you hold steadfast in that strategy. Even if you're a day trading, value trader, Forex trading, whatever it may be, even in that sense, you still stick to your strategy and your ways. And no matter what, you're going to win, you're going to lose, it's going to balance out overall. Me, my portfolio is not changing, not one bit through this election. Nothing's going to change where I'm going to hold in that. And it is really having
as it shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the definition. That's the purpose of you picking a strategy, is something that you're comfortable with, and with the ups and with the downs, because you guys have seen some of the things that we have pulled up on here, and Roman's been transparent with some of his investments, and you can see that some of them have gone down. But you have to be consistent, because this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a long-term. This is a long-term strategy. So you stick with that and don't be like, you know what, I'm going to put in here and I'm going to pull out and I'm going to put in here and pull out. Like, that's the way that you really lose a lot of money over a long span of time. Like, you may make a little bit of money here, but it's just like going to gamble. You go in there and you put money on the table, and then there's a possibility that it comes out, and then there's a possibility that you don't. You make 20, you lose 80. You make 60, and you like, cool. You know what I'm saying? No, you didn't get anything. You're still back at zero. So stick to your strategy and continue on from there.
Yep. So no matter what, I promise the stock market is definitely not going to crash. A stock market did not crash through a pandemic. And even when it did go down, about 30% through like March, and between March and May, it rebounded already from that. So the stock market is not going to crash. The banks are not going to collapse. Nothing else is going to change. You're not pull out all your money and just keep it in the mattress just for that reason. Stay strong. From there, we got taxes. Even I've watched all the debates and town halls. I've seen a lot of the backlash and back and forth. and the tax cuts and the new tax code between Biden and Trump, the candidates is what I've been seeing the most of. And I feel like, especially personally, we talk about taxes a lot on this channel as it is, and that's something that may or may not affect you depending on where you're at. Really, the big thing is really for people that's making more than $400,000, which I don't know if we got any people on this channel that's making more than $400,000 a year. If you are, thank you. We want to have you on here maybe sometime too. But
Yeah,
that's a
round of
lot
applause
of
to
money.
you.
And even 50 Cent kind of went on a whole rant lately about getting people to not even vote for Biden just for the simple fact of feeling like you're going to end up getting taxed more. 50 Cent is making more than $400,000 a year, people. He's saying everybody, but if you're making the 40 to 70 grand a year, like a median income is in America, that's not going to affect you. If anything's actually going to help you. So it's just we're not telling you even who to vote for. You definitely vote for whoever you believe in, or everything with that. But just really understanding where that happens. Somewhere else that kind of may affect you is your capital gains tax. Depending on how you use that may affect. Right now, if you're getting about 40% of your income individually from dividends or from selling stocks, if it's 40,000 or under, you don't pay any tax on it at all. If you pay 15%, if you're making 441,000, a little bit more than that, and then 20% on over that amount, that's still a lot of money to be making just off a stock market or from your dividends and such like that. You can even earn to give a little bit more, and then how you save on your tax. We've talked about tax breaks and tax cuts and deductibles and charitable donations. With all those different things like that, you could probably write off that 10 or 20% instantly right there. And I will link these articles down in the description below. But all this coming from Fidelity. They did a very good comprehensive thing on a lot of this. And, taxes, there's always ways around them. It's not going to affect them.
Yeah. In addition, you need to look at the local taxes that are for wherever you are. We're here in Illinois, and there is the Fair Tax Act that is going to be something that we have to vote on. First and foremost, wherever you are, go vote. Do your thing, vote one way or another, but that's, your right as an individual living in the United States to be able to vote and to exercise that right. So make sure that you're doing that no matter who it is that you're voting for. We don't care. We just want you to be able to make your voice heard. But with that being said, you have to look at the taxes that are, or the other bills that you're going to be voting on, because you don't just go into the presidential election just to vote for the president. Like, there are Supreme Court justices on there, and there are other judges, and there are laws, and there are bills. There's a lot of other things that are on there, which is kind of why I feel like voting should be like everybody should be doing it at home, kind of situation, so they can actually Google and see and read all about, because I don't remember, even though I've read everything for all of these different people, I don't remember off the cuff. Like, I need a cheat sheet. I need to just write on my hand who I was supposed to vote for, little sidebar, but make sure that you're looking at all the different things, and especially the taxes and how they're going to affect you, because the tax acts that are coming up are taxing, higher income families and individuals. They're taxing marriages more than they're taxing then they're taxing single people. So you just have to see, one, where you're at. So if you're a single person now, but you plan on getting married, how is that tax shift going to affect you specifically? And that may sway how you decide that you want to vote. Yeah, do you want to vote no, and then all of a sudden once you're married, now you're being taxed at 40% more if you would have said yes. So you just have to kind of weigh those options and see what's best for you. But taxes, regardless, are going to be a thing. They're always a thing come election time. So you just have to kind of see where you're at in that spectrum, and then where you plan on going moving forward.
And then that was pretty much that. That's taxes for everyone. Corporation taxes will be probably going up. So depending on if you have a S corp, you have an LLC, things like that, those will change as well if Biden gets elected, or even whatever happens. You never really know.
Which means that y'all should help support us, because we got to pay more to get y'all content, and be giving y'all money. There are places on our website where you can actually donate money to us. You should do that at YBI LLC, YoungBrokeInInvesting.com.
Yep.
.com. Yes. Holla at your boy, because we do want to continue to bring you guys content. We are paying for all of this. We are paying to give you guys money, create content, bring people on, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera. And
to bring on people and bring on some experts and stuff surprisingly, some of that stuff actually costs money. To like get some people like that you want to talk
Everything
to, or,
costs
they
money.
want,
Yes.
But
So
so
yeah,
we want to be able to get
another
some
sidebar,
much
but
good information for
right.
you all as much as we can, and do what we can for you guys. So definitely continue to help us out and support. I love all the support we'll be getting. We're getting a lot of good feedback, and thank you guys.
Yeah, what he said. Okay. All right,
Um,
moving on.
onto that. Onto that. I think our third point for today is going to be still what to be doing with your money almost now. But we already said holding fast in your investment strategy, holding fast in your saving strategy. And if you haven't already, talked to a CPA for taxes on really what you can minimize for that. We did when we talked about taxes in a like 2 or 3 part episode, was talking to a CPA and getting it. CPAs are really not too much more expensive than they are for you to go on TurboTax for free, because it's really not free and everything else now. So you definitely can go on there and figure out what can I get to deduct, what can I write off, what can I do to save money on my taxes, and get it down so you have that zero refund, because that's not a good thing to actually be getting a tax refund. That means you overpaid and you could have used that money to invest or save somewhere else for your own needs, for whatever you want to do, and plant those seeds so you can grow that wealth even further and stronger down your legacy. So you definitely want to do that.
Go check out that video. That was Tax Time and talking to a CPA with Brittany Ocasio, which we can also link in the description below. But like Roman was saying, if you get a CPA, it's better. Yeah, it might cost a little bit more, but at the same time, there's no liability. The liability is not on you; it's on whoever your accountant is. So if I do my own taxes and then all of a sudden I get audited, I'm gonna have to pull all those documents. My CPA's got everything. I didn't do nothing. I sent her all the correct information. They've got it. So that's just another reason why you should get a CPA. But again, make your own decision. If you only have one job and you're W-2, you can probably get it done. But if you're like us, where you have so many streams of income, and then now you have an LLC and you got to do this and you got to do that, I ain't trying to mess with those taxes. No, I'm sick of it. So yes, go check those videos out.
Yep. If you haven't already, still with the saving strategy, look at that income statement, look at that budget. I think we already reviewed our top 5 budgeting apps with Mint and Personal Capital and all those. So if you haven't downloaded one of those
this
apps,
whole video is just plugs
out
for the rest of the videos that we've done.
We're just saying, check those out. And if you haven't done it already, that's one of the first steps you can take. It's really just seeing really how much money you're spending and what you're spending it on. Because once you see like, oh, I spent $300 this month on Uber Eats, you're like, I could have took that money to the grocery store and would have ate for 2 or 3 months. Once you really start looking at it, and I get it, it's tough, anxiety could build, but it'll help you out in the long run. And it's nothing more, having financial peace and independence is a whole lot more stress relieving than worrying about debt and not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from, or living paycheck to paycheck. Like we talked about our one of our recent videos was
in the relationship video.
In the relationship. And then also in the stash episode, it was the getting paid 2 days quicker on some of these banking apps. If your normal paycheck is on Wednesday or Thursday, getting paid on Monday or Tuesday is not going to change anything. It does not affect anything at all. It doesn't matter. It's just you got that check earlier than your coworkers. Cool.
But if the videos that we've referenced haven't come out yet, just get excited because they're coming.
Hit the notification bell. So subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or Google Podcasts, and you get the notification when we post a video.
Right. But what he was talking about is how there is, I think it was like 70% of women stress more over money, and then it's like 50% of men have anxiety, like legitimate anxiety, diagnosed anxiety. So that means that there is still 50% of men who have undiagnosed anxiety, and 30% of women who have undiagnosed anxiety because of money stress. So getting your financial situation right, or doing things in that vein, can make you feel so much better. I mean, just imagine being able to say, you know what, I want that, I'm going to get that, without having to question it, or without having to check your bank account, or without being like, let me transfer a little bit of money from my check into my savings, or let me do this, or let me do that. Like, not having to make those moves creates a whole new realm of freedom that the wealthy really live by. Those are their rules. Like, if I want it, I got it, period. I can go do this. I can give this. I can donate this. I can do that. So that type of financial freedom is what you're looking for. And I think that this election really does allow for some of that freedom, which is why obviously this is a pivotal point in, United States history, where, we still have a decision to make. And one way or another, like we said, it doesn't matter how you're voting. It matters that you are educated on who you're voting for, regardless of who that is. Look, see what I would literally just put them side by side, say, you know what, am I for this or am I for this?
Issues, beliefs,
Don't worry about red or blue. Just say, look at the policies. Which policy makes more sense to you as a person? And then once you get to the bottom of the list, you tally them up and say, this is who I'm voting for. And that's a very simplistic way for me to just be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm this or I'm that, or I'm going to vote for this, I'm going to vote for that. So people put a lot of stigmas on different things. And I think that it's really easy for, especially in the United States, for us to pin us against one another, Democrat and Republican or this, that, and I feel like that's where the separation is. So the real divide can be, brought together if we just sit down and say, you know what, there are policies that I understand on both sides. But for the most part, I'm this. I vote this way, or for the most part, I vote that way. But when you do that analysis side by side, you can actually say, you know what, this person makes more financial sense than this person. This person makes more financial sense for me. This is where I see myself going, or this is where I currently am. And we share views in that regard. And I think that's a very simplistic way for you to financially see what you want to do in terms of the election.
Yep, and I think we can wrap up with, I'm just going to say this last little thing, would just be, no matter what, like we talk about hold fast to your strategies and what you're already doing, where do you see your financial self in 5 to 10 years? Let's ask the question to the people. And honestly, that won't even really matter on really who's in office in any means. It really depends on where you see yourself and how do you get there personally, no matter what else is going on in the world. Even if you want to move to a different country or anywhere, like you where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years financially and yourself, inner peace and happiness wise? I tell people all the time, no matter what, if your inner peace, your inner happiness is good, you're good. It doesn't matter. Everything else is whatever.
Yeah. Go vote. 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 Vote.
Oh, use that right.
Because you can, and because it's my birthday, and I said so. My birthday is the day after. It's on Wednesday. It's on the 3rd, right? Election's on the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, my birthday's on the 4th. So, because I said so, I was super excited when I turned 18 because it was my first opportunity to vote. They let me vote even though my birthday was the next day and I was still 17. I was in that joint and I voted. So,
Nice.
So I think that you guys should, and it's important, and I said so. Now what?
Make the birthday wish come true. Come true. Let's go.
Yeah, right, I mean, his birthday is a couple weeks after mine, so,
right. But
we're going to be doing birthday stuff. It's a little Thanksgiving-ish, it's in that general region, that general area. But that's what we got for you guys today. Get your electoral self together.
Voters?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. And as always, you guys, Roman's gonna take us out.
We may be young, we may be broke, but we are always investing.
Always investing. Thank you guys so much. We out of here. Peace.
For listening to Young Broke and Investing, we just want to let you know that these are the opinions of the hosts, are not meant to be the basis of any security purchases or investments. We're trying to give a little information out there for everybody and have fun and be safe.